She waited 2 years for this moment. Eala's revenge match is finally here. She cried on that court. Fans hugged her. She signed autographs through tears because a dream she chased since she was 4 years old had just been ripped away from her by one woman. 2 years later, that same woman is standing across the net again. And this time, Eala isn't ranked outside the world's top 150. She's a Grand Slam quarterfinalist in waiting, a WTA champion, the girl who beat a defending Wimbledon champion on center court and walked off in tears of joy instead of heartbreak. Today, in Mason, Ohio, the story comes full circle. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this single tennis match might be the most emotionally loaded few hours of Eala's entire career. Stick around, because this isn't just a story about a tennis match. It's a story about what happens when you refuse to let one loss define you. And there's a twist near the end of the story that even hardcore tennis fans might not have connected yet. So if you love underdog stories, redemption arcs, and athletes who claw their way from nothing to the very top, hit that subscribe button right now, because we're about to break down one of the most remarkable 2-year transformations in modern tennis. The night everything fell apart. Let's go back. August 2024. Flushing Meadows, New York. The US Open qualifying tournament. Not even the main draw, just qualifying, the unglamorous rounds most casual fans never watch. A 19-year-old girl from Quezon City in the Philippines was one win away from something no Filipino tennis player had ever done, reaching the main draw of a Grand Slam. Her name was Eala. She'd picked up a tennis racket at age 4. She'd left home as a young teenager to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, thousands of miles from everything familiar, chasing a dream that most people back home probably thought was impossible for a kid from a country with almost no tennis tradition at the top level. By the time she reached the third qualifying round of the 2024 US Open, she had already knocked out 2 opponents. The Filipino flags were out. The energy in the crowd was electric. And across the net stood Elena-Gabriela Ruse, a Romanian veteran 7 years older, ranked 122nd in the world at the time, with far more experience on the biggest stages. Eala came out firing. She took the first set 6-3. For a moment, it looked like the fairy tale was actually going to happen. Then it started slipping away. Ruse clawed back. She took the second set 6-1. The match tightened, tension mounting with every point, and physical discomfort began creeping into Eala's game. She needed a visit from the physiotherapist mid-match, trying to fight through whatever was bothering her. It wasn't enough. Ruse closed it out 6-4 in the third, and just like that, the dream was gone. 3-6, 6-1, 6-4. Ruse advanced. Eala went home. What happened next says more about who Eala is than the loss itself ever could. She didn't storm off the court. She stayed and signed autographs for the fans who'd come to support her, tears streaming down her face, while people in the crowd called out, "It's okay, Alex. We love you, Alex. Thank you, Alex." Her uncle, a well-known figure in Philippine sports, later said publicly that she had fought and clawed and simply come up just short against brutal competition, and that he was still proud of her. It was the kind of defeat that ends some careers before they really begin. Instead, it became the origin story for everything that came next. From number 153 to the top 20. Here's where the story gets almost hard to believe. At the time of that US Open qualifying loss, Eala was ranked 153rd in the world. Today, she is ranked number 20. That is not a gradual climb. That is one of the most dramatic rises in recent WTA history, and it didn't happen by accident. She didn't sulk. She went back to the practice court. Through 2025, she quietly built her ranking match by match, tournament by tournament, absorbing lessons from every loss along the way. And then 2026 arrived, and the version of Eala that showed up on tour looked like an entirely different competitor. It started building momentum on the grass courts of Britain, where she captured her first ever grass court title at the Birmingham Open. A small headline compared to what was coming, but a signal that something had shifted. Then came Wimbledon, the match that changed everything. If you want to understand why Eala's name suddenly started trending worldwide in July of 2026, you need to understand what happened on center court against Iga Swiatek. Swiatek walked into that third-round match as the defending Wimbledon champion, a 6-time Grand Slam winner, one of the most dominant players of her generation. Eala had already made history just by getting that far. She'd become the first Filipina in the Open era to reach the third round of a Grand Slam, fighting past Renata Zarazua in straight sets and then rallying from a set down to beat Australia's Maya Joint. Nobody expected what happened next. Eala and Swiatek battled through an opening set that stretched past 80 minutes. Swiatek had set points. Eala saved them. The set went to a tiebreak, and in one of the tensest passages of tennis you'll see all year, Eala clawed her way through it. Then she took the second set 6-2, and just like that, the defending champion's title defense was over. Final score, 7-6, 6-2. Eala didn't just win a tennis match. She became the first player from the Philippines to reach the second week of any Grand Slam tournament in history. On court afterward, she broke down in tears trying to explain what the moment meant. For her, and for a country that had never seen one of its own go this far in a major. That win alone would have made 2026 a career-defining year. It was only the beginning, a maiden title and a first for an entire region. A few weeks after Wimbledon, Eala arrived in Washington, D.C. for the Mubadala DC Open, and she went on an absolute tear through the draw. She beat defending champion Leylah Fernandez. She beat Naomi Osaka. She beat Elena Svitolina. Then, in the final, she faced world number 3 Jessica Pegula and beat her too, coming through 4-6, 6-4, 6-0. That victory made Alexandra Eala the first Filipino and the first Southeast Asian player of any nationality to win a WTA Tour-level singles title, pushed her to a new career-high ranking. She wasn't a feel-good underdog story anymore. She was a legitimate, ranked, tour-winning threat, and everyone on tour knew it. She barely had time to celebrate before heading north to Toronto for the Canadian Open, one of the biggest hardcourt tournaments of the season outside the Grand Slams. Ticket demand for her matches got so high that tournament organizers moved her to center court. She fought her way to the round of 16 before finally running into Switzerland's Belinda Bencic, who ended her run 4-6, 0-6. Even in defeat, the message was clear. Alex Eala was not a flash in the pan. She was here to stay, the pattern nobody's talking about enough. Now here's the detail that makes today's match against Ruse feel less like a coincidence and more like destiny catching up with itself. Over the course of the 2026 season, Alex Eala has developed a habit of hunting down players who have beaten her in the past, and beating them right back. She has now defeated 7 consecutive opponents who had previously gotten the better of her. Mexico's Renata Zarazua, Australia's Maya Joint, Poland's Iga Swiatek, China's Zheng Qinwen, Canada's Leylah Fernandez, and America's Jessica Pegula and Alicia Parks. Think about that for a second. When Alex Eala loses, she doesn't just move on. She studies it. She comes back stronger, and the next time she meets that player, more often than not, she wins. There is exactly one player left on that list who has never felt the sting of an Eala comeback win. One player who still holds a perfect record against her. Elena-Gabriela Ruse, setting the stage in Cincinnati. Which brings us to today. The Cincinnati Open, a WTA 1000 event, one rung below the Grand Slams in prestige and ranking points, is being played this week at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio. It's Eala's tournament debut here. She had to withdraw the previous year with a shoulder injury. This time, she's arriving seeded 17th, the highest seeding of her career at this level of tournament, which earned her a bye straight through the first round. Ruse, currently ranked 77th in the world with a career high of 51 back in 2022, had to work for her spot, dispatching Poland's Magda Linette 6-0, 6-3 in the opening round to set up the rematch. 2 years ago, when they first met, Eala was ranked 153rd and Ruse was ranked 122nd. Ruse was the significantly higher-ranked, more experienced player. The gap has completely flipped. Eala now sits inside the world's top 20. Ruse sits outside the top 70. On paper, Eala is the clear favorite. But paper isn't what decides tennis matches. And Ruse has already proven this week that she's playing well, dismantling Linette in straight sets without dropping serve. What's actually on the line? This match matters for more than pride. Win, and Eala advances to a projected third-round meeting with either her close friend Zeynep Sonmez or ninth-seeded American Amanda Anisimova. Beyond that, Analysts have mapped out a brutal potential path. A possible fourth-round clash with 7th-seeded Linda Noskova, who has actually beaten Eala twice already this season, at Indian Wells and in Berlin. Survive that, and a quarterfinal against Jessica Pegula, the very player Eala beat in that Washington final, could be waiting. Beyond that, Iga Swiatek. Beyond that, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka. It's a murderer's row of a draw. But none of it happens if she doesn't get past Ruse first. And there's the Grand Slam angle hanging over everything. Cincinnati is Eala's final tune-up tournament before the US Open begins on August 30th in New York. The very tournament, the very city, where this whole rivalry with Ruse began. A confident, momentum-filled win today doesn't just erase an old loss. It sends her into Flushing Meadows with exactly the kind of psychological armor a player needs heading into the biggest stage in tennis. Eala herself has downplayed the drama publicly, saying that different cities and crowds bring different energy. But once she's on the court and she knows what she has to do, not much changes. Confidence, not bravado. The mark of someone who has already proven she can handle enormous pressure. From center court at Wimbledon to a packed house in Washington to a raucous, flag-waving crowd in Toronto that fans nicknamed her own personal barangay. Why this match hits differently. Here's the thing that makes this particular rematch so compelling, and why we wanted to break the whole story down before it happens rather than just report the score afterward. This isn't really about Elena-Gabriela Ruse as an opponent. Ruse is a solid, experienced professional having a good week. Nothing more, nothing less. This is about what that 2024 loss represented, and what erasing it would mean. That night in New York wasn't just a lost tennis match. It was the closing of a door that Eala had worked her entire childhood to open. It was tears in front of strangers, a physiotherapist called mid-match, a 19-year-old kid watching her Grand Slam dream evaporate in a third set. For 2 years, that memory sat there, unfinished business, while she rebuilt herself into one of the most feared competitors on the WTA Tour. Every ranking point she's climbed, every former conqueror she's tracked down and beaten, every tear-filled interview after taking down a Grand Slam champion. All of it, in some sense, has been building toward a moment like this one. A chance to walk back onto a court against the one player who still has her number, as a completely different version of herself. Whatever happens today, the story of how far Eala has come between that loss and this rematch is already remarkable. A rise from outside the world's top 150 to the top 20. A maiden WTA title. A historic Wimbledon run. A country's first Grand Slam second-week appearance. Legends of the sport taking notice of a kid who started swinging a racket at 4 years old on the other side of the world. If she gets her revenge today, it becomes something more. The final chapter in a 2-year redemption arc, closing the loop just weeks before she returns to the exact tournament where the heartbreak began. Before you go, if this story pulled you in, that's exactly why we make these videos, because sports is never really just about the scoreline, it's about everything a person had to overcome to get there. Eala's journey from a heartbroken teenager crying through autographs at Flushing Meadows to a top 20 player standing on the brink of Grand Slam contention is one of the best redemption arcs in tennis right now, and we're going to keep following it all the way to the US Open. If you want to be there for the next chapter, whether Eala gets her revenge today, and what happens when she walks back into Flushing Meadows later this month, make sure you're subscribed and you've got notifications turned on, because this story is far from over. Drop a comment below telling us who you think comes out on top today, and we'll see you in the next video.